Your neighbors can see everything. Every barbecue, every conversation, every moment you thought was private is exposed to wandering eyes. Steel walls and vinyl fencing promise solutions, but they drain your budget while offering nothing but dead, static barriers that scream, "I have something to hide." Meanwhile, traditional landscaping advice pushes slow-growing evergreens that take a decade to provide even minimal screening. You don't have 10 years to wait. You need privacy now, and you need it delivered by something alive, aggressive, and unstoppable. We're weaponizing biology today. We're deploying the fastest, densest, most relentless plant species available to create living fortifications that establish in months, not years. These aren't delicate ornamentals that require coddling. These are botanical thugs, the heavy hitters of the plant world that laugh at conditions that kill weaker species. They grow with such fury that you'll measure their progress weekly, not seasonally. Within one growing season, you'll transform exposed property lines into impenetrable green walls that muffle sound, block wind, filter pollution, and repair themselves automatically. No rust, no rot, no contractors charging $300 per linear foot. Let's start with the most controversial plant on this list, the one that terrifies garden forums and homeowners associations alike. Bamboo has a reputation, and that reputation is earned. Running bamboo species like Philostachys areosulcata, the yellow groove bamboo, can grow 4 feet in a single month during peak season. That's not a typo. 4 feet in 30 days. It doesn't ask permission from your soil. It doesn't care about your climate zone. From Maine to Florida, from Seattle to San Diego, bamboo establishes root systems so aggressive that they can crack through compacted clay that stops other plants cold. The culms, those vertical stems, shoot up so densely that within 2 seasons you're looking at a wall of green canes spaced every few inches, creating a visual barrier so complete that you can stand 3 feet away from someone on the other side and not see them. The sound dampening is extraordinary. Traffic noise, neighbor conversations, barking dogs, all of it gets absorbed and scattered by thousands of leaves rustling in layers 10 to 20 feet deep. But bamboo demands respect, and this is where most people fail. Running bamboo spreads through rhizomes, underground stems that travel horizontally with shocking speed. Without containment, you're not planting a privacy screen. You're launching a green invasion that will colonize your entire yard, your neighbor's yard, and potentially the yards beyond that. The solution is brutally simple: rhizome barrier. You need 60 mil HDPE plastic barrier installed vertically to a depth of at least 24 inches, preferably 30. This creates an underground wall that redirects rhizome energy upward instead of outward. The barrier must form a complete loop with overlapping seams, and it needs to protrude 2 inches above soil level so rhizomes can't jump over. Install it correctly once, and you've created a controlled privacy fortress. Install it incorrectly, or skip it entirely, and you've created a nightmare that requires excavators to remedy. Clumping bamboo varieties like Bambusa multiplex avoid the rhizome issue entirely, growing in tight, expanding clumps rather than running wild, but they sacrifice some of that legendary growth speed. For maximum privacy and minimum time, running bamboo with proper barriers remains unmatched. Leyland Cypress has become America's default privacy tree, and there's a reason for that ubiquity. Cupressocyparis leylandi grows 3 to 4 feet per year under good conditions, creating a dense, evergreen screen that hits 20 feet in just 6 or 7 years. The foliage is soft, feathery, and packed so tightly that even in winter, when deciduous plants stand naked, Leyland Cypress maintains complete visual blocking. It tolerates nearly every soil type except permanently waterlogged ground. It handles drought once established. It shrugs off urban pollution, salt spray, and the kind of neglect that kills fussier species. Plant them on 6-foot centers, and within 3 years the canopies merge into an unbroken hedge. Within 5 years you've got a living wall that makes chain link fencing look primitive. The problem with Leyland Cypress reveals itself around year 10. Fungal diseases, particularly Ceridium canker and Cercospora needle blight, attack stressed trees with devastating efficiency. Entire hedges can brown out and die in a single season, leaving property owners staring at rows of dead skeletons. The cause is almost always environmental stress combined with genetic uniformity. Leyland Cypress are all clones, meaning they share identical vulnerabilities. When you plant dozens of genetically identical trees in a row, you've created a disease superhighway. One infection jumps from tree to tree without resistance. The fix is threefold. First, ensure excellent drainage because waterlogged roots invite fungal attack. Second, provide adequate spacing for air circulation, even though this delays the instant hedge effect people crave. Third, consider mixing in other fast-growing evergreens like Thuja green giant to break up that genetic monoculture. Leyland Cypress delivers unmatched speed and density, but it's a tactical plant, not a plant-and-forget solution. Monitor it, give it breathing room, and it performs beautifully. Crowd it, ignore it, and it commits mass suicide. Thuja green giant, the hybrid Arborvitae that's actually a cross between Western red cedar and Japanese Arborvitae, might be the most bulletproof privacy plant available to American gardeners. It matches Leyland Cypress for growth speed, pushing 3 to 5 feet per year, but it brings disease resistance that Leyland can only dream about. Deer, the destroyers of suburban landscapes, generally leave Thuja alone. The foliage stays green through winter, doesn't brown out from cold damage, and recovers from ice and snow loads that snap other evergreens. It adapts to soil pH from highly acidic to slightly alkaline. It handles full sun and light shade. It tolerates clay, sand, and loam. This adaptability makes it the safe choice, the option that works in nearly every region from Zone 3 through 8. The density of Thuja green giant builds slowly at first, then suddenly. Young plants look sparse, almost weedy, with visible gaps between branches. This triggers panic in impatient homeowners who wonder if they've wasted money on inferior stock. Don't panic. The branching structure fills in aggressively once the plant establishes, typically in year 2. By year 3, you're looking at solid screening. By year 5, you've got a wall of green that requires annual pruning to keep it from swallowing structures. Plant them on 5-foot centers for faster screening, or 8-foot centers for long-term sustainability. The tighter spacing delivers quicker privacy, but requires more aggressive pruning later. The wider spacing allows each tree to develop its natural pyramidal form without crowding, but you'll wait an extra year or 2 for complete visual blocking. For most situations, 6-foot spacing splits the difference perfectly. Skip laurel, Prunus laurocerasus shipcayensis, brings broadleaf evergreen beauty to privacy screening. Unlike needle-bearing conifers, skip laurel produces glossy, dark green leaves 4 inches long that reflect light and add a cultivated, intentional aesthetic to property borders. It grows 2 to 3 feet per year, reaching 10 to 15 feet at maturity. The density is remarkable, with branches layering from ground level upward, creating screening that doesn't leave that awkward gap at the base that tall trees often produce. In spring, it explodes with fragrant white flower spikes that pollinators mob. The flowers give way to small black fruits that birds devour, making this privacy screen an active participant in your local ecosystem rather than just a green wall. Skip laurel tolerates shade better than almost any other fast-growing privacy plant. Where Leyland Cypress and Thuja demand full sun to maintain density, skip laurel performs beautifully with just 4 hours of direct light. This makes it the solution for those challenging north-facing property lines or areas shaded by existing trees, where other privacy plants thin out and fail. It handles urban pollution, deer pressure, and drought once established. The pruning tolerance is exceptional. You can shear it into formal hedges, let it grow into informal screens, or renovate overgrown specimens by cutting them back hard without killing them. That resilience matters because privacy needs change. What works as an 8-foot screen today might need to become a 4-foot hedge tomorrow, and skip laurel accommodates that evolution. The one non-negotiable requirement is drainage. Skip laurel despises wet feet. Plant it in heavy clay that stays soggy, and you'll watch it slowly decline, dropping leaves and developing root rot. Amend planting areas with compost, ensure positive drainage, and skip laurel becomes virtually indestructible. For property lines with existing shade and decent drainage, nothing delivers faster broadleaf screening. American Arborvitae, Thuja occidentalis, is the cold-hardy answer to privacy screening in zones where other plants struggle. While Thuja green giant taps out around Zone 3, American Arborvitae varieties like Emerald Green and De Groot's Spire survive Zone 2 winters without damage. The growth rate is more modest than the southern speed demons, typically 18 to 24 inches per year, but in Minnesota, Montana, and Maine, that's still faster than 90% of what survives. The narrow columnar form means you can plant them on 3 to 4 foot centers and create a dense screen that doesn't consume massive amounts of horizontal space. This matters intensely on smaller properties where a privacy hedge can't extend 8 feet into the yard. The misconception about American Arborvitae is that it's fragile and requires constant attention. That reputation comes from improper siting. Planted in full shade or boggy soil, American Arborvitae becomes a pale, thin disaster. Give it full sun and average drainage, and it becomes a reliable workhorse that maintains color through the harshest winters. The deer resistance is minimal, meaning in high-pressure areas you'll need repellents or fencing until plants exceed browse height. But once established above 6 feet, deer lose interest and you've got a permanent privacy screen that will outlive you. For northern gardeners who've been told that fast privacy screening isn't possible in their climate, American Arborvitae proves otherwise. Photinia x fraseri red robin, commonly called red Tip Photinia, brings a color element to privacy screening that the evergreen green brigade can't match. New growth emerges brilliant red, creating a two-tone effect where fresh tips glow crimson against mature dark green foliage. It grows 2 to 3 feet annually, reaches 12 to 15 feet, and tolerates pruning so well that you can shape it into formal hedges or let it develop into informal screens. The spring flowers are white, clustered, and fragrant, adding a sensory layer to what could otherwise be a purely functional planting. For gardeners in zones 7 through 9 who want privacy screening that actually looks designed rather than merely defensive, red Tip Photinia delivers. The Achilles heel is fire blight, a bacterial disease that attacks plants in the Rosaceae family during wet springs. Infected branches develop blackened shepherd's crook tips that spread through the plant, if not removed. The prevention strategy is cultural. Avoid overhead irrigation that splashes bacteria onto foliage, prune only during dry weather, and sterilize tools between cuts. Where fire blight pressure is severe, red Tip Photinia becomes a maintenance headache. Where conditions are drier, or gardeners are willing to scout and prune infected material promptly, it remains a fast, beautiful privacy solution with unique ornamental value. Privet, particularly Ligustrum japonicum and Ligustrum ovalifolium, might be the most underestimated privacy plant in cultivation. Garden snobs dismiss it as common, as the plant equivalent of beige vinyl siding. That attitude ignores reality. Privet grows 3 to 4 feet per year in nearly any soil, any exposure, any climate from zone 4 through 10. It leafs out early in spring and holds foliage late into fall. The semi-evergreen varieties maintain some winter screening even in cold climates. Shear it monthly, and it becomes a tight formal hedge. Ignore it entirely, and it develops into a loose screen with white flower clusters that smell like a mix of honey and regret, depending on your nose. The point is, Privet performs regardless of input level. The growth speed borders on aggressive. Privet doesn't just fill space, it colonizes it, sending up root suckers and self-seeding with enough enthusiasm that it's considered invasive in several southeastern states. This character flaw is also its strength. You're not babying Privet along, hoping it survives. You're managing its expansion, directing its energy towards screening rather than invasion. For rental properties, budget landscaping, or situations where you need privacy yesterday and don't care about horticultural prestige, Privet is the duct tape solution. It works fast, and it works when better plants give up. Virginia creeper, Parthenocissus quinquifolia, represents a completely different screening strategy. Vertical coverage instead of planted mass. This native deciduous vine grows 30 to 50 feet in a single season once established, clothing chain link fences, ugly walls, and bare structures in layers of 5-leaflet foliage that turns spectacular scarlet in fall. The tendrils equipped with adhesive pads allow it to climb anything without support wires or trellises. It tolerates full shade to full sun, wet soil to dry soil, clay to sand. Deer ignore it. Diseases avoid it. It simply grows, covering whatever surface you point it toward with such speed that you'll need to prune it away from gutters, windows, and other areas where its enthusiasm becomes problematic. The privacy blocking develops through layering. First-year growth climbs vertically. Second-year growth branches horizontally, creating depth. Third-year growth fills in gaps, producing a living tapestry that obscures whatever sits behind it. The coverage is seasonal, meaning winter exposes the structure beneath, but from April through November you've got dense screening that performs additional functions. Cooling walls through transpiration, providing wildlife habitat, and adding significant aesthetic value to industrial fencing or concrete block walls that would otherwise remain eyesores. Boston ivy, Parthenocissus tricuspidata, is Virginia creeper's more refined cousin, with broader, three-lobed leaves that overlap like shingles. It's the vine that covers Ivy League buildings in that iconic college aesthetic, turning brick and stone into living architecture. The growth rate matches Virginia creeper, and the climbing mechanism is identical. Adhesive pads that stick to nearly any surface. The fall color is equally spectacular, often more uniform than Virginia creeper's variable display. For covering tall privacy fences, blank walls, or creating green screens on structures, Boston ivy provides faster coverage than any planted hedge could achieve. The trade-off is control. Vines are aggressive by nature. They don't understand boundaries the way shrubs do. Let Boston ivy climb your house and you're committing to annual pruning to keep it away from soffits, windows, and roofing. Skip the maintenance and it infiltrates every gap, every crack, every opportunity. But direct that energy at a fence or a freestanding wall and you've weaponized its aggression into a privacy asset that establishes in months and costs a fraction of traditional hedging. For properties with existing ugly fences or walls, vines convert liabilities into green assets faster than any other plant strategy. The implementation strategy for living privacy screens determines success or failure more than plant selection. The most common mistake is skipping site preparation. People jam plants into native soil, cross their fingers, and wonder why growth stalls. Your soil is probably terrible. Most residential soil is construction fill, compacted subsoil, or clay hardpan that roots can't penetrate. Fix this before planting. For hedgerows, excavate a continuous trench 18 inches deep and twice the width of your root balls. Backfill with a mix of native soil amended with compost at a 1-to-1 ratio. This creates a friable rooting highway where new roots explode outward instead of circling in the planting hole. The investment of 1 day's trenching and amending returns years of accelerated growth. Within one growing season, you'll have reclaimed your privacy using the most effective technology available. Aggressive, fast-growing plants that turn property lines into living fortifications. The neighbors can't see you anymore. The traffic noise fades to a murmur. Your exposed yard becomes a private sanctuary, all because you weaponized biology instead of writing checks to fence contractors. That's the power of understanding how plants grow and directing that growth toward your objectives. The choice isn't between privacy and patience. The choice is between dead materials that start deteriorating immediately and living systems that start improving immediately. Stop waiting. Start planting.